Kimi here, and today I am doing a video that has not been highly requested but has been asked quite a bit, and it's kind of weird that I've been doing this for so long that I've never felt the need to do this video. I've answered it in every single one of my Q&A videos, and I've never thought about doing its own separate video, and so I figured that I would just do that today. So today I'm going to tell you a little story about how I got into K-pop, and I've been asked this so many times and I always have to give an abbreviated version because it's in a Q&A video, and Q&A videos are always so long already, so I just need to be like, well, this happened and this happened, but I never really have given a full talk about how I got into Super Junior, how I got into Infinite, all of that stuff. I've kind of just told it in parts, and so I've decided that if I have this video and I know it exists, figured that I can just link this video from now on and be like, this video exists on my channel, and I can just leave the link down below and you guys can come watch this because the story's not gonna change. So for those of you who don't know, I have been in K-pop for almost 7 years now. I'm going to have my 7-year anniversary this fall being into K-pop, and I don't have an exact day for you. I don't. I know a year and I know a time of year, and that's all I know. And it's funny because some people are like, oh, I can tell you exactly what date I got into K-pop, and I can't tell you that. I got into K-pop in 2009. I was in junior high, and I found it completely by accident, and the way that I found it was a girl who I was friends with on Facebook, but was not friends with really. You know how you have those Facebook friends who you're like, well, we went to school together for so long that I'm just gonna friend you, but we don't actually get along, we don't actually talk that much, and we have very different interests, so I don't know, and we have different friend groups. We just kind of know that the other person exists. I don't know if you have Facebook friends like that, but I have moved so much that I just have Facebook friends like that. So this girl, she posts a dance cover, and the dance cover was somebody dancing to G-Dragon's Heartbreaker, and she posted it and was like, wow, this is a really cool dance, I want to try to learn it. She was a dancer, and she was like, I want to learn this, and one of her friends commented on that video and said, Tiffany, you can do this so much better. You could do this so much better than this girl in the video. And because we were just kind of knew the other one existed, I was like, how good is this girl? Is this girl not that good? And I didn't even think about how I'd never heard the song name before. Before K-pop, I was very into, well, I was 13 years old, so I was very into I was just getting out of the Jonas Brothers, that whole kind of. I liked the little rock, I liked a little rap, I was just kind of all over the place, and I have always had a very not a short attention span for music, but I like to have a lot of music to listen to. I've always liked to have so many groups and so many different things to listen to. So I was just kind of okay, well, let's see how good this girl is. I have some free time. I'm in junior high, I have tons of free time. I miss those days where I wasn't in. I love college, and you couldn't pay me to go back to high school or junior high, but man, I miss having all that free time. Oh wow. I watched the video and I was I can't even tell you how the girl was in the video, what she looked like how she danced, or if it was good, or if I thought that Tiffany was better. I don't know. But I do remember listening to the G-Dragon Heartbreaker song and being wow, this is awesome. This is so good. I love this song, and I didn't even think it's not in English. I didn't even think that. It's so weird. I've always been super interested in languages. I always loved I think one of my happiest times during high school, junior high was when I took French and when I was learning Korean at the same time, because I just love learning languages. And you think that I would have gone into something more language related in college, but I just have always had other passions as well, so I ended up going into one of those. I just was very interested in the song, so I just searched the song on YouTube and I found the music video for Heartbreaker, and I thought it was the weirdest and the coolest thing that I'd ever seen in my entire life. I watched that music video and I was like, this is weird. There's this really blonde guy, a lot of really interesting looking Asian women, there's a lot of apples. I don't understand the concept of the apples or anything, and so I was reading through the YouTube comments. I was like, who is this guy? Was said oh, I miss him in Big Bang, and so I went and looked up Big Bang, and I was like, oh, this guy's in Big Bang. I listened to the rest of the songs on Heartbreaker. It is so funny how I don't own that album because it was, at the time, like my absolute favorite thing. Like if I could own any album from YG Entertainment, that is at the top of my list. So I was listening to that, and then I listened to some Big Bang's music, and I found a lot of their Japanese stuff. At first, they had just released Koi ni Kasete? Maybe? Let Me Hear Your Voice? Something like, they had just released something, and I thought it was amazing. I thought the song was incredible, and I was like, I am so sad that Big Bang is broken up. So this was all like one afternoon of not doing homework because I was in junior high and didn't have homework. So I also, when I was in junior high and in high school, I loved getting home and doing my homework right away. I was that kid. I was like, I'm gonna get a snack and I'm gonna go do my homework so it'll be done by dinner time. And so, you know, that's just kind of who I am. Not anymore. I am a huge procrastinator now. So the next day I go to school, and I had this group of friends, and we all always sat at the same lunch table, and there was like two sections of the lunch table. There was this side that I didn't really usually sit on, and there was this side, but I guess I got to lunch late that day and there was no more room on this side. This was like the side that everybody kind of wanted to sit on because it was like the main core of our group, and so I was always like over there because my best friends were there and like kids that I'd known for years were there. On this side of the table there were kids that I also knew, but I knew them and I like talked to them, we were friends, but we didn't usually have too much to talk about, you know what I mean? So I sat on that side of the table that day. I was like, it doesn't matter because afterwards we all go outside and like hang out outside anyways. I'm just gonna eat my lunch and whatever. So I sit down and there's 3 Korean kids there. There's 2 guys and a girl. The 2 guys were like some of my best friends, some of my best guy friends in high school and junior high. So I sit down next to them and they start talking about something, and one of my guy friends mentions G-Dragon, and I was like, G-Dragon, like, you know, G-Dragon. And so I like spoke up. I was like, oh, G-Dragon, yeah, I know him. And they were like, how? And so I told them the story about how I'd seen the video and I'd looked them up and went through all that stuff, and my friend was like pretty impressed that I had just gone that deep that fast. Like found out he was in Big Bang, found out he was the leader, listened to some Big Bang's Japanese stuff, some of their Korean stuff, and I said, yeah, like I really, really like this. I am instantly hooked to it. I'm going to go home and listen to Heartbreaker like a billion times the second I get home because I already want to listen to that song. Or all 3 of them were like, well, we need to give you like other music to listen to, like do you want to listen to other groups? And I was like, yeah. So in the next like week or so after that, I would say that maybe it was like 2 or 3 weeks, they just gave me artists. They gave me SNSD, they gave me SHINee, one of the girl was very into SHINee, and there were a few others that they gave me, 2 PM, 2 AM, U-Kiss back then, and that's why I call them the originals. Also, 2NE1 were debuting at that time, and so I was like, oh, or they had just debuted or something, and so I was like, oh, Big Bang's little sister group, like I have to listen to them. And it's so weird to think about all of this now, but and who else was debuting? MBLAQ was debuting that year, Beast debuted in 2009, yes. Eventually one thing led to another, and I was like, there was no K-pop on iTunes back then. There was like very, very little K-pop on iTunes. It was still a very like, not a big, like, a lot of people were listening to it. Before the Gangnam Style thing happened, everything was pretty, like, low, and I was like, so how do I get this music? Like, how do I do this? And my friend was like, oh, I'll just make you a CD of a bunch of songs. But he took forever to do it, and I am an extremely impatient person, and whenever I ask questions and people are like, oh, like I'm like, no, I'll just do it myself. Like I don't have time to wait for you to think. I am just very impatient, and I'm a kind of person who's like, if you want something done, just do it yourself, just get it done. So I'm terrible in group projects. You don't want me in your group project. I will just try to do everything. So what happened was that I went to figure it out myself, and I found forshared.com, which I don't use anymore, haven't used in years, and I found the songs there and I downloaded them myself, and that was the beginning of that. And that, everybody always asks me, how did you learn how to do this? How did you learn how to do that? And the only answer that I can give them is that I had 3 friends that were into K-pop. They gave me names, but everything was because I am just a very curious person, and I cannot be into anything like half-heartedly. Like I need to either be really, really into it or I'm not into it, and I won't lie to you and say that I'm into something if I'm only like kind of into it. Like I am very into the things that I'm into. Did a lot of research. I learned the Korean alphabet by myself. I just did memory games online. Like I just Google searched them. Like it's not not rocket science. I Googled English subs for the first time. So then I was into K-pop. That was me. I was into K-pop, and then I was like, Big Bang were my ultimates at the time, and I was under the impression that they were broken up, that they were no longer releasing group music, that G-Dragon was doing his own thing, and I was like, well, none of these other groups have really pulled me into the point where I want to stay in K-pop. So I started looking, and the way I found music originally was first through my friends, but they only gave me like 5 or 6 groups, and then through end of the year favorite song mashup things that are done by, oh, what's his name? I still watch his mashups. They're really good. When they come out, it's like a big deal, but you probably know who I'm talking about if you've seen him before. And I heard a little bit of Sorry Sorry in that, and I was like, who is that by? He did not write it in the description box. Sorry Sorry was a big enough song that he probably like missed, and then just didn't even realize that he missed because everybody knew Sorry Sorry except for me. Everybody knew Sorry Sorry except for me. Was fooling around one day, just like, you know, doing this and that and listening to different music, and I was into SHINee and Dongbang Shingi before I was into Super Junior. So I was on SM's page, and one of the suggested songs was Super Junior's Sorry Sorry, and I heard it and I was like, this is that little clip of the song. I listened to every other song on that mashup, and I downloaded a lot of them. I actually liked a lot of them. And that's why if you go back to like the earlier time of me downloading music, you'll see a lot of random things there, but I just was really into it at the time. So then I found Super Junior, and I went through and I learned Super Junior. I watched every single one of their music videos, watched every variety thing they had been on up until the Bonomana era, because they were just ending the Sorry Sorry era when I got into them, and then my first comeback was Bonomana with them. But I was an elf by then. I like declared myself an elf. That was really it for that. I just like learned them, watched all their variety. The first drama I ever saw, the first drama I got into, I was just bored because I finished watching every single Super Junior variety thing that existed. It took me a few months to do that, but like I got it done. But anyways, getting into Infinite was kind of a different thing because I loved Epic High. Like I said, I'm beginning of this, before I got into K-pop, I was very into hip-hop, R&B, like rock kind of music. So when I discovered Epic High, I thought their lyrics were amazing. I thought that the boys were just awesome. And then I heard that Epic High's company was releasing a boy group. Woohyun Entertainment was releasing a boy group, and I was like, the boys in this group have been trained by Tableau and Mirtha, and like they've been trained by them. They have to be good rappers. This is gonna be a great hip-hop group. And I back then was like, hip-hop groups though. I missed the teasers, I missed everything for that really, and I missed like all the You Are My Oppa stuff, and I kind of forgot about them. And then back then, one thing that I was really into that I kind of wish I still did was I watched Music Core and Countdown. I watched them fully. I like would sit there on Saturday mornings and Friday nights and Sunday mornings, and I would just watch them. I was watching stages, and I was starting to get to the point where I was like, I'm just gonna watch who I want to watch. Like I'm just gonna pull every single like group that I'm interested in and watch their stages. And I saw that the day after Infinite had released their music video, they went on no, it's the second day, they went on Music Bank. It's their second stage on Music Bank. Anyways, I watched the Music Bank performance for Dashidorowa, and I was like, wow, this is so good. This is like so interesting. I'm like really into this. And then I learned the members through that. I thought Woohyun was the hardest member to learn back then. Woohyun, because he has like this jacket in only half the scenes, and the jacket was throwing me off. It's funny to think about that now, because now if you show me a picture of Woohyun like in any way, I like know it's him. But yeah, I learned him that way, and I did not call Infinite my ultimates until their first comeback, and I have not done that since Infinite. I have not watched a group's performance and been like, they're my ultimates. Like I am obsessed with them. I watched You Are My Oppa, and that's why I automatically had to love LOVELYZ because I was so into I'm still so into Infinite, you guys know, but like it was just different back then. It was so weird. But yeah, that is everything, I think. There really isn't a story with after school. I just decided one day that I want to get into girl groups, and I said, well, what girl group do I like listen to their music the most? And it was after school. So that was a few years after all of this happened. That was like after Shampoo, after Bang, after a lot of really big hits from them. And then Big Bang dropped off of being my ultimates right after I started collecting albums. So like I bought I didn't pre-order Infinite's debut album, but I did buy Infinite's debut album like right after it came out, so I would say 2010. Back then I only bought 3 albums a month. It was a weird time, but yeah, I think that is everything. And I hope I didn't miss anything because I want this to be like a default video, but if you have any questions about anything I said or any other K-pop help videos that I can film, let me know down in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye!